So now, and briefly, I want to say what is different definitions between the mind nature and the obscurations of the delusions of your mind. So now we are lucky, we are fortunately, because our mind nature is pre-mortally pure. Pre-mortally pure means is before was beginning not unpure, and then after practice, meditate, purifications, and then become pure. That is not the case. That is the not point. Because I'm saying pre-mortally pure. Means sense from beginningless, our mind nature is pure, totally pure. Pure means stainless. Okay? Mind nature is stainless. Without a stainless. It's totally pure. Totally pure. The Buddha nature mind is pure. That is the one quality of mind nature. So therefore, our mind nature is permanent. This permanent is not normal, regular, what we understand permanent. So therefore, we used to sometimes say great permanent or supreme permanent. Our mind nature permanent, but this permanent is great, more supreme than normal permanent. Okay, so therefore we say great permanent. That's the one quality of our mind nature. And another qualities, our mind nature is sense-born, is wisdom. This wisdom is not normal, not a regular wisdom. This wisdom is pure wisdom. And we can say self-awareness wisdom. This wisdom is self-awareness wisdom. Without object of knowledge, subject of knowledge, and actions of knowledge. Means is that is self-awareness, the wisdom. No more knowledge or wisdom, not self-awareness, because we have to wear object to another object, That's with object, subject, and active itself, or three spheres. That's our normal wisdom, the discriminative wisdom, normal. But here we're talking primordial wisdom. So primordially, as your mind nature is freedom from ignorant. So this is a sense born beginningless. Your mind nature is freedom from ignorant. Okay? That's primordial wisdom, the quality. So in this way, because we're talking like Buddhist tradition or some other traditions, sure, also, but especially Buddhist philosophy, when you practice, meditate, and purifications, collection, merits, lots, and then finally says when you will be attainment Buddhahood, then you will be achievement omniscience, all-knowing knowledge. We can say all-knowing knowledge, wisdom. But doesn't mean it's a newly born, this wisdom. Doesn't mean. That omniscience, Buddha's omniscience, all-knowing knowledge, wisdom, actually exactly existent sense from beginningless to our mind nature. That meant the seed of Buddha is there already. The seed of enlightenment already sown under your mind nature. Sense from beginning naturally, but automatically, spontaneously, the seed of enlightenment is sown on your mind. That we call Buddha nature, Then what makes sense if I'm say in the text they say Simji Ramjin or Sarva Timanam Lorwa just quoted to one the two lines from Tibetan language and the root text in Indian master. No, it's Buddha says, not in the master, it's Buddha says. But the Buddha is actually Indian master. However, Shakyamuni Buddha says, Simji Ramji or Sarva. That means is a mind nature is primordially clarity. The essential mind nature is primordially luminosity. Everyone that talking, not only me, not only you, everyone. Even small insect, small bacteria, mind nature is clarity, luminosity, luminescence. That is one. That means is the opposite of ignorant. Ignorant means is dullness, fogginess, sinkingness, something like confusion mind. That means is, delusion mind, and that is ignorant. So the opposite of this darkness is luminescence, luminosity, clarity. So sense, from beginningless, everyone's mind nature is as luminescence or luminosity, clarity. Okay, that means is there no ignorant to your mind nature is. There's no ignorant. Same Jinajin or Sarva. And then questions, then why sentient beings and wandering in samsara foolishly? It's already all the sentient beings, mind nature is Buddha. And then what is the difference sentient being between an extraordinary beings? What difference very ordinary and Bodhisattvas? But that means is according to depend to the obscuration. The level of the obscuration is different. With obscuration, without obscuration to your mind nature, this is different. For example, now, like the space, the empty space, sky, the empty sky, the space. Space is an uncompounded phenomena, actually. Nature is pure, permanent, unchangeable, clarity, the space nature, the definition of space. According to the ultimately, but according to the conventionally, circumstantially, space not always pure, can be polluted, or today is very cloudy, or stormy, or something is, it's windy, it's pollution. That's say, today's sky is not pure, very polluted, we say. That is conventionally. But the space nature itself is never ever pollution, no possible. The pollution is a compounded phenomena, circumstantially appears, changeable object. The nature space is uncompounded phenomena and primordial pure, empty space. But our mind is deluded. We can see two differences. Sometimes there's a pollution, sometimes without pollution, the space. But space is no matter with polluted or without pollutions, but our nature is pure. Same, like this way, we need to understand our mind nature is with obscuration, delusion, or without obscuration or delusion. No any changes. That I mention you, unchangeable. Our mind nature is with a great permanent. That means is the space is also permanent. With pollution or without pollution, no change any. But circumstantially, according to conventionally, but relatively, illusorily, but interdependently, you can say, today is not pure, the sky. But sky itself is always pure. So mind nature is always pure. So therefore, what is the difference? Ordinary being, extraordinary beings, with obscuration to your mind, or without obscuration to your mind. That's only. So therefore, we are lucky. No, because we can separate from the obscuration of delusion, obscuration of afflictive emotion, or the ignorant. Because the delusion, obscuration of delusion is not the same nature of your mind. Like desire, anger, ignorant, jealousy, hatred, harmful thought, harming mind. So this all is just afflictive emotion, but circumstantially appears there, but that not primordially to the nature of your mind. Totally not. Since from beginningless, these kind of obscurations separated to your true nature mind. Like water. You see, we say murky water, dirty, mud, murky water. This water is you cannot drink, very murky, it's dirty, we say. But the nature, the definition of the water, the drop of water, the atom of water is always pure. In the mineral water, very is pure. But only is the mixture by the mud. So therefore you cannot see the nature of water. You only see the mud. It's a murky water. So therefore, that means is the opportunity, the chance. The mud have chance to separate from of the pure water. The pure water can arising one day, sooner or later, from the mud. So therefore, what is the best way if you want to make clean the murky water? Don't be moved. Don't be shaking. Just live in the stable place, wet, few hours, or maybe a few days. And the mud is sinking. The pure water, mineral water is calm. So likewise, if you like relaxed as on the mind nature, do not too much judge, check, worry, panic, something is scattered, wandered, and too much busy your mind. Means is like shaking the murky water. You want to make clean but cannot. More dirty become. Therefore, just relaxed, on the nature feeling, comfortable feeling, and then is the distraction mind can naturally disappear. And as long as can disappear, the more will be disappear about the obscuration or delusions, and then your mind nature is arising more negate. Negate means the nature, luminosity, and pure wisdom. That arising appear like the pure water appears when the mud is sinking, and then as pure water appears there, similar.